Everyone, and welcome back to Orin D&D. This is the collective session 65. Yes, hooray! Thank you all for coming. Our last session was session 64. We got a full stack of sessions in this campaign now on April 16th, 2022. We do not have a written summary for it, so I'm going to ad lib based on my notes. So, our last session was as follows. After a nightmarish encounter with a mystery mage in the forests north of Magnolia, Gorn, through a terrible act of bad luck or fate, had his arm removed by an errant spell from the mage and passed into unconsciousness as he bled out from his now blackened, open stump of a shoulder. Gorn sat in darkness for some time, unconscious, unfeeling, and unaware of what was going on, but soon flits of color, reds, greens, yellows, and blues, begin to dance within his mind, the darkness of his unconscious state. And slowly the sensation of touch began to return to him as he felt the soft blowing of wind and grass upon his mortal flesh. He slowly opened his eyes and peered above him to see nothing but a dark, endless void above him. Picking himself up, he uttered a short prayer to whatever gods that would hear him, to hopefully protect him in this new, terrible place that he did not recognize. He gazed around for some time and realized it was a dark mockery of the clearing within which he had just been defeated. Feeling towards his left arm, he realized that it was still missing, and that the events prior he had not imagined. Gazing around, he saw black miasma swirling through the air, coagulating and coalescing before him in the road into a large black mass from which voices emanated. And yet, from all around and even within his mind, he heard them. He was certain that the source was from this black mass, but he could not place it from there. His voice did not echo in this place, and as he grew closer and closer to the floating black orb, the image, the form of a decayed ancient raven skull began to form within this terrible pit, this black hole. He identified this, of course, as the goddess of corruption, murder, darkness, Sensela, a foe that the party has now encountered several times, though not in such great capacity as this. Sensela attempted to tempt Gorn, showing him visions of his past, including one recently lost individual, I'll say, Norbert Halfpint. With each new iteration, she tempted him further to stray off his path of good and justice and step into the darkness, offering him power and whatever else he may desire in exchange for service. Gorn began to buy into Sensela's tempting, but after hearing more, he attempted to rid himself of her influence, resisting her call. Upon attempting to resist, she began to reach deep in the recesses of his mind to force him to obey, but luckily was saved by the triumphant entry of his patron, Bjorn, the goddess of strength and honor and glory, too. Don't forget that one. Searing through a flaming portal and prepared to combat Sensela in this terrible void, Bjorn announced to Gorn that he needed to resist her calling and warned her of two individuals. One, the mage that he had just encountered, in what he learned was a dreamlike state that Sensela had given him a vision of to convince him that he was weak and could not oppose her. He further warned him, of another mage, described as cosmic purple and wielding of a terrible power known as the Black Flame. Gorn turned to Bjorn and desired to fight with him, but Bjorn gave him one better, slapped him on his decayed stump of an arm, and gave him a brand new arm, stronger and more just than its original. And then, with a wave of his hands, he cast Gorn down into the abyss, where the colors and the void danced around him once more, sending him into oblivion before the rest of the party rode into the clearing. And after a relatively peaceful journey south towards dark and quaint forest roads towards Magnolia, they heard a loud thump, and looking behind them, saw that Gorn had fallen off of his horse and collided with the ground. The party immediately asked him if everything was okay, to which Gorn responded with incredulity and fear, rambling about having seen visions and spoken with gods. He described this place as something he had seen before, much to the confusion of the rest of the party, who had never seen this clearing before, despite their supposed involvement with this battle that Gorn described, with the exception of Badger, who felt a faint sense of deja vu in the area. Given little time to explain, Gorn yelled that they needed to be careful and that someone or something was coming for them, and galloped upon his horse over to a nearby rock, ripping it up from the ground and peering at it to see that there were simply a few worms and other little bugs under it. Frantically, he looked around and attempted to convince the party that something was wrong, while another member of the party, Roscoe, headed over towards the destroyed remains of a wagon. And moving a small broken board caused a vial of glass to fall from the old wagon and shatter upon the ground. Gorn screamed in terror and tackled Roscoe to the ground in an attempt to shield him from something, while the rest of the party took quick action to shield themselves or attack the worms under the rocks. For whatever reason, they did that. Gorn cowered over Roscoe, holding his head above him in an attempt to save his friend, and sat for seconds. Seconds, it felt like an eternity, before realizing that nothing had happened. There was no explosion like Gorn had expected, no attack by bandits, nothing. The rest of the party looked at him with greater concern as they attempted to figure out what exactly Gorn had seen or heard. With a loose grasp upon reality, at this point in the day, Gorn desperately attempted to explain to his fellows that he had seen this place before and combated some unknown mage, losing his arm in the process and watching many of his friends being injured as well after being ambushed by bandits who had hidden under the rocks. Then he described a meeting with Sensela herself, describing that he had seen things like this before, but never with this clarity and with certainty that it had truly occurred. Worried that the rest of the party would not believe him, he begged them to understand what he was saying and to believe that what he had seen had truly come to pass. Luckily, the party put their faith in Gorn and decided to believe that whatever he had seen had happened, at least in some capacity, with Kevril asking Rosani if she had shared the same dreams that he had recently been experiencing at night, to which she responded that she had, describing her dreams of her mother and her fellows fighting unknown forces within the Forest of Eternal Spring to the far east. Cedric investigated the cart and found signs of an attack, while Rosani attempted to figure out if there was anything wrong with Gorn's arm, to which she was unable to detect any magic involved with the supposed return of his arm. Gorn finally explained that Bjorn had commanded him to go and seek out the cosmic purple wizard in the fen, prompting Kevril and Roscoe to describe the fen to Gorn as a terrible place from which very few return. Gorn explained that while he did not expect everyone or even anyone to accompany him after their business had concluded in Magnolia, he would be going to the fen, regardless of who came with him, to seek his destiny and serve his deity. The rest of the party assured him that whatever happened, they would stick with him through thick and thin, and they proceeded south out of the clearing towards Magnolia. Though Gorn could swear that he felt some eyes upon him as they rode out of the clearing, as the emblem of Bjorn upon his chest burned red hot for just a moment before subsiding. Finally, after a long day's journey, the party broke through the forest and came upon a forked road split by acres upon acres of large orchards, from which most trees bore no fruit and had actively rotted. Gazing upon the scenery, they saw acres of orchards, farmlands, and below in the valley, the town of Magnolia. Finally, they had arrived at their destination as they heard the grand church bells of King Ashen's cathedral echo sonorously throughout the valley. They spied the fort in which the elves had presumably taken up across the way to the south, along the top of another end of the valley, another hill, and gazing down at the town, resolved to meet with Duke Brolin so they could contact the elves and hopefully begin negotiations. And that is where we left last session. Are there any questions, comments, concerns before we begin?
Nope.
Fantastic. Okay, everyone. Then, welcome back. This is session 65 on June 19th, 2022. It is the dusk of Saturday, May 26th, 1001. You have just arrived at the fork of a road on the northern ends of the town of Magnolia, the ducal seat of Magdine, one of the 4 duchies of the Kingdom of Humanity. Your goal, as last described in last session, was to find Duke Brolin, meet with him, and proceed to the fort, where you could hopefully make contact with the elves, and hopefully amongst them, Rosani's mother. You are currently on horseback, standing at the fork of the road between the orchard.
Can I start leading the way into the city?
Yes. So where in the city exactly are you planning to go?
Is anyone familiar with this city?
Rosani
Okay.
is. Yes.
Gotcha.
Lived here for several years.
Hometown girl.
This is not my hometown.
Not quite. Yes, Rosani,
Town.
you have been here for a little over 2-ish years.
Mhm.
So you have some familiarity with the area. Yes.
Yeah. I suppose I will take them to the main cathedral. I think we said was where the count or the duke would probably be.
Okay.
So that's where I'd go.
Okay.
Um,
Go ahead.
we're supposed to keep a daily log, right? So I'll just kind of, Cedric will write some stuff like, yeah, it's this day we arrived at Magnolia. Super excited to be here. Thank you for the opportunity.
I believe you wanted
That's
the
alright.
log in the orb.
We'll record it after. Because I don't know. My thing is, I don't know. It was never explained. Or maybe it wasn't. I just forgot. If you could, like, do multiple recordings on the orb and just have it piece by piece connect together.
You only know how to make recordings on it. You don't really know how any of the rest of it works. So all you kind of know is hit button, talk, let go of rune button.
Better safe than sorry. Let's just all do it at once.
As long as we remember to do it.
Right,
Very true.
right. Okay. So all of you hop back atop your horses and proceed down the valley towards King Ashen's Cathedral. Weary after a long day of travel, you decide to head to King Ashen's Cathedral to hopefully find where Duke Brolin is located, to meet with him. You clamber back onto your horses and you choose a path at the fork and trod down the dusty country road past the long, snaking lengths of rotting fence. Slowly riding through the acres of decayed orchards, you catch a glimpse of a few small children nearby, giggling amongst themselves as they gather apples from one of the few fruit bearing trees left in the fields. Upon seeing you, they stop and stare at you before doing something entirely unexpected. They smile and wave. It occurs to you that this is perhaps the first time where your group has actually felt welcome in a new place. Despite the warm feeling, you dismiss it as the naivety of youth before a
I
woman.
wave back.
I would also like to wave back.
Yeah, the children wave and hi before they continue picking their apples, and then spooked by a noise they hear, they pick up their basket and run off towards a different set of trees. You continue on your way, and despite the warm feeling, you dismiss it as the naivety of youth before a woman passes by and provides a similar reaction. At first, a quizzical stare as she perceives the admitted strangeness of your group, but then a softening of the face and a soft and somewhat somber good evening as you pass by her and part ways. You guys continue riding down the road for some time.
As we ride in, I guess I'm just gonna keep an eye out for like shops that would sell things that you might not be able to find in Paradine.
Okay,
Like I don't know, gift shops
sure.
or other
So
cool deals.
as as you start moving down the sloped valley and towards the town proper, um, you start looking around and you see that the rolling orchards, which are attended to only by the occasional lonely house, soon give way to bountiful fields of hardy brown barley, voluminous cabbages, thick bean vines, and other crops suited for the cool plains summers. The last rays of the sun point to the peasantry, tired and dirty from a hard day's toil, retreating to their homes, collected more densely along the outskirts of the town proper, and resting upon large tracts of loamy dirt. Excuse me. You look around, Cedric. You don't see too many shops yet, though you do see that the density of housing has become greater as you're moving closer and closer towards the town proper. Though it seems that these are still kind of collections of smaller villages that have been kind of absorbed into the more urban area. But you don't see any shops at this point. However, I'll pick a random path for you. Finally, however, as the sun is lost over the towering foliage of the Forest of Eternal Spring to the east, your horse's hooves clack noisily upon the cobbled paths before they're drowned out by the sonorous boom of three great cathedral bells, signaling the end of the day for the sleepy town. Warm torchlight and the cool, dull shine of the moon mix to illuminate the town as you proceed toward King Ashen's cathedral. And as you pass through the winding urban corridors, you can't help but notice that despite the apparent age of many of the buildings around you, they have been shockingly well maintained. It's possible that a few of these refurbished stone buildings are still standing since the town first grew from a tiny hamlet almost 500 years ago. You wonder at the reverence these people must hold for their homes and how they compare to the shaky, war torn settlements of the South and West. Even the capital, Paradine, humanity's giant, and your home as of late, are dulled in comparison. But of course, this is only architecture, after all. And with no one out and about at this time of night, there's no telling exactly what type of life has kept the town in such good repair. Assuming you are not looking for anything specific, you can actually, Badger, go ahead and, or Cedric, excuse me, go ahead and roll. You're actively looking, so roll perception.
I would also like to look for any sort of music shop.
Sure. Actually, both of you roll investigation. Excuse me.
Investigation. Meow. I rolled a 7.
7. Okay.
I got a 16.
Okay. Let's see. Cedric looking for shops. And Roscoe for music shops. All right. So, luckily for the two of you, led by Rosani, who knows the area a bit more, you come upon a grand central corridor, a main street from which you can see the cathedral very clearly down the road. It seems that this, at least during the day, is probably the center of most foot traffic in the town. And on either side of you, towering a few stories above you, there are large buildings, large and small, both very compact and with space between them, forming to their own little smaller districts within the city, sub-districts, if you will. You see on either end, there's quite a few smaller market stalls that have been left alone for the day, as well as hanging signs blowing in the soft valley winds of many different shops, most of them general stores, clothing stores, and whatnot. Stores that the people of Magnolia use to trade and live their daily lives. Not much in the way of adventuring stock, unfortunately, as most people don't pass through here for that. Roscoe, you do peer along a corridor of buildings and think you see something that might resemble a taste of the finer things in life. But unfortunately, Gorn, downtrodden and still shaky, rides past you on his horse before you're able to get a good look, and soon it's replaced by another corridor of buildings. Though you do recall the approximate location if you would like to visit it later.
Excellent. Thank you.
Cedric, on the other hand, you do not see anything of note, though you do see several general shops, a blacksmith, and a tailor, amongst a few other nondescript stalls that you assume would sell things such as food and other small implements of day to day life. There is, in fact, you do see a little market stall with lots of wooden forks, spoons, and other cutlery, which is, in fact, quite striking to you, considering that most people just eat with their hands.
Do we have cutlery in our house?
We-
Yeah, you have a little bit. You guys live in a pretty nice home and estate, and you've collected some things along the way. You do have cutlery, which is admittedly, as I mentioned, a rarity.
I won't buy any cutlery then.
Even if you would like to.
Unless, you know, like how Olive Garden has like that 3-pronged fork, the
Yeah.
freak.
Tried them.
If I see one of those,
Trident.
Those are the best.
keep my eye out.
Those are the best.
Call the freak, guys.
Okay.
Eyes
Um,
out for the freak.
Cedric, unfortunately, even if you would have liked to purchase something, you see that at this time of night, this place is empty. There is next to no one here. You see the very occasional small retinue of patrolling guards with arms and armor in no special condition. But it seems like all of these market stalls have been left just completely, almost completely unguarded in the night, save for a very occasional guard.
This kind of piques my interest. Can I look for like, are these things like magically guarded somehow? This is like Cedric's big time criminal brain acting up.
Yeah, do you wanna
Like this is a little suspicious.
You
This
want-
is too easy.
ride a little closer to one and check it out?
I'm gonna ride a little closer so that I could like maybe like 10 feet within 10 feet and just kind of like look over and try to glance and see if I see anything.
Okay. Go ahead and roll an Arcana check.
An Arcana check.
Yes.
Known Arcana expert Cedric Delora Badger. 4.
Not a 1?
4.
That's a 4.
Oh, it is.
Okay. So, Badger, or Cedric, you ride about as close as you're comfortable to, and taking a look at the stall, you try to see anything on there. Perhaps a rune or a sigil. You weren't able to find anything. You even, though a very rudimentary test of, magic defense, you decide you're not getting any closer in case something does go off. You swoop down and pick up a loose little chunk of cobble from the road.
Yeah, like a pebble.
Yeah, and you toss it towards the stall. It thinks off the wood. You hear it creak for a moment, but nothing happens.
I move on.
As far as you can tell from your investigation, there is no magical protection on these. At least the one you checked.
All right. Still not going to do anything because it's really not worth it to get caught stealing on a diplomatic mission for a 3-pronged
For a
fork.
freak, yeah.
A freak.
Fantastic. Okay. So,
Maybe on the way out.
you all ride into the main square. Rosani, of course, you have seen this before. And in fact, you are very well acquainted with this area in particular. But the rest of you, you see King Ashen's Cathedral standing tall before you. Standing tall is a grand understatement. King Ashen's Cathedral is a grand structure towering well above anything else in the valley. 3 great wings with ornate sloped roofs and beautiful, strong stonework, one for each member of the triad, converge by way of three grand flying buttresses to an all-seeing tower rising high into the sky. The tower climbs for several stories before terminating into a peaked bell tower where three humongous brass bells swing. A true testament to humanity's faith in the Triad, the cathedral is one of the most beautifully impressive buildings any of you have ever seen, rivaling that of the great structures of the dwarves in the mountains and the ruins of Armogan's Revenge, the old Triton colony far north in the sea that those of you, save for Kevril, experienced months ago. This is a beyond lavish building that you are gazing upon. It stands in special contrast to most of what you have seen humanity build, which are sprawling, strong, but generally simple buildings with little pizzazz or really much thought seemingly put into their construction. Most of the buildings that you've seen, especially in Paradine, have been thrown together with a very utilitarian architectural philosophy, as opposed to this building, which is more than just a building, it is clearly a work of art. Despite the inactivity of the rest of the town, the square in which you stand does have the occasional group of clergymen, some of which, upon walking past you, immediately recognize Rosani and raise their hands in warm greeting before returning to their business. Nearby, water from a fountain noisily trickles from a few small holes in the stone, perhaps powered by some gravity stream underneath. Above it, perched atop a great stone pedestal, is a grand statue depicting two figures. One, a triumphant bearded human man, and another, an elven man of otherworldly beauty. Both clasp a sword pointed high to the sky. As you stand there gazing at the pedestal and the statue for some time, I will say that none of you immediately recognize the figures in the statue. Rosani, you do. The rest of you, if you want to roll history, you can to perhaps identify it. If not, you
Yeah, I'll
simply
take a
gaze in
stab.
splendor.
I'll give it a try.
Sure.
Little history, big history guy.
D8. That's
Cedric de Laurel Badger.
Kevril, are you gonna try as well?
13.
I mean, I suppose if we're all doing it,
It's the cool thing to do.
yeah.
You're not cool unless you roll
Yeah,
history.
I
I got
don't
an
even know what
11.
my history is. Oh, my history's really good. Hold
They're
on.
not gay lovers.
The only
Let me
thing
roll
I
this
thought
one.
of when you were describing it.
22.
It does kind of remind me of those posters of like Soviet and Chinese like propaganda posters.
They got the hammer, like the fucking PPSH.
Yeah, and they have like their arms around each other. It's like
Wow.
they're fucking.
Lovers. Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
If no one gets the role well enough, can you just DM me who they are?
Yeah.
Or I guess you can say it out loud.
Yes.
But I like secrets.
Okay. What'd you guys roll?
I got an 11.
An 11,
22.
13,
I'm guessing I
and
don't
a
know.
22.
Never mind.
Big, humongous.
Okay.
22, that's a fail.
Yeah.
Damn. I needed a 22 and a half.
all of you recognize the first figure, the bearded human man, as of course King Ashen the Unifier, the founder of the kingdom many, many years ago. You've seen his likeness before, in fact, in Paradine outside of the castle. The other figure is not so familiar to you, save for you, Kevril. You, of course, recognize this individual as Niazin, the Lunar Lord, one of 3 moon elves and the how do I put it? The originators of the elven race, chosen lords by the god Terra herself to lead the elves. To the others, and Rosani, you actually also know both of them.
Mhm.
For Roscoe and Cedric, you just think, wow, that's a nice looking elf. Despite being a statue and a very old one at that, his beauty really is otherworldly. Not just in magnitude, but in quality. You don't know many full elves, and though your friends Kevril and Rosani have features of them, the facial structure really is different. And though you could describe it as beautiful, it's foreign to you. Perhaps the strangeness of it adds to its appeal. But regardless, you are too captivated by it to recognize what historical figure it could be, given the secretive nature of elven history. You're all just kind of gathered outside of the cathedral, standing around gazing at the fountain, watching as people in flowing robes pass by and gaze upon you at a time before continuing to their business. When Rosani, a bullet passes through your head, you die.
Damn it.
We do that all the time in the Delinquents campaign because they have guns. It's you think it gets old.
Never.
It's funny every time. It really is fucking hilarious every time. But Rosani, as you're standing there, gazing at the statue with the rest of your fellows and looking around, you hear an immediately familiar voice call out to you, raucously, from across the square with a, "Well, look who decided to stop by for a visit." You turn over and see the familiar face of your good friend, Tolzes, one of the fellow clergymen. The rest of you look over at the sound that really breaks up the silence in the area and see. Oh, I'm sorry. You see a tall copper dragonborn standing at what you would guess is 6'8", very broad body. He looks young and he's adorned in flowing blue and gray robes. Rosani, actually, go ahead and roll a religion check.
You said Dragonborn?
Dragonborn.
Yep.
He's a copper dragonborn.
Copper. Gotcha.
Yes.
That was my next
God.
question.
Religion? An 8.
An 8. Okay.
I rolled the 2.
That's tough. You gaze at him and you see, wow, such wonderful robes. But
Am I able to roll a religion check?
go ahead, yeah.
I'm just taking stabs at all the things I know nothing about.
You might.
11.
11. Both of you peer at his long, flowing blue and gray robes, and though they're not like robes you've seen much of in Paradine, with the 3 churches spread out across the city, they are certainly finer than many of the clergymen surrounding you and the rest of the square. Rosania is definitely different garb than what the 2 of you would wear before. That much is for sure. You see that he gives a big, toothy smile, his razor-sharp teeth glinting in the moonlight. as he walks over with big, outstretched arms towards you, mostly towards Rosani.
I'm gonna hop off my horse at that point.
Awesome. As you hop off, he immediately scoops you up. Oh, my friend. he
How have you
puts
been?
he puts you down. I am surprised to see you. You are not supposed to be back for, well, another month or two. A year-long journey, unless I've miscounted.
Yes. We're here on business, I suppose you could call it. We need to speak with the Duke.
He looks at you and raises what would be an eyebrow. The Duke.
Yes.
He gazes at the rest of you for a moment. And these are your friends.
Oh, yeah.
Uh,
Guys, this is my friend Tolzis. This is my crew. I
What
guess.
was that name? Tolsus?
Tolzis.
Tolzes.
Tolzes.
I don't know where my notes are.
Um,
It's all mixed together.
yeah, we kind of, I guess, travel around together and do things. So,
Well.
You've certainly done at least a bit of traveling.
Yeah, we do a
quite
lot
bit
of things.
quite a bit of traveling.
Of course, not a detour to your pilgrimage.
No, of course not.
He punches you on the arm. I kid. I know your dedication is strong. Don't worry. Looking for the Duke, though.
Yes.
That's an interesting task.
Yes.
One that you do not seem eager to share out here.
Yes. Perhaps we could go maybe someplace more indoors.
Of course. He looks around at all of you. You all look very weary. Please, you are guests in our town. The clergy would afford you all of the luxuries that we can give, especially of a triumphant returning member of our glorious cathedral. Please, I invite you inside.
Thank you. We greatly appreciate the hospitality.
Thanks, man.
Of course, the pleasure is all mine. Any friend of Rosani is a good friend of mine. He looks at you for a moment, Rosani. Just promise that when you're off doing great things in the world, you'll remember old Tolzes here, right?
I don't think I could ever forget you.
Of course not. Who could? Please, come in. It is growing cold out here. These summers, unbearable. Can you believe
This
it?
was the Copper Dragonborn, right?
That's
Yes.
correct. Okay. Of course, your your horses. I can have someone take them for you. They'll be returned to you after they're fed and rested, whatnot.
Thank you.
Please. Brothers! He gestures over to a small group of clergymen. Sister Rosani has returned early from her pilgrimage, please. She brings fellows and horses. Would you take them nearby somewhere? They nod and gesture for you to get off of your horses.
We get off our horses.
Off the horses we get.
They will be in good hands, of course. Please, come in, come in. It has been far too long, far too long. So, he brings you guys through the doors into the cathedral. Passing.
So
Oh, go ahead.
these robes are new,
Ha.
you know.
Have you so quickly forgotten?
There's a lot of stuff that's been going on this past year or so.
Yes. We'll have plenty of time to catch up, of course, but as you recall, when you left, I was undergoing the trials of priesthood.
Hmm.
I can say that I have succeeded.
Congratulations.
Thank you, thank you. Well, you've returned early, but it may be possible that we shave a couple of months off if well, we discuss later, but you may be eligible yourself if you're going to be staying here.
We can. There's a lot to bring you up to speed on, and we can talk about it later.
Of course, friend, of course, we will talk.
Mhm.
Please come in. Come into our home. The city's home. Passing through the colossal double doors, you are immediately struck once again by a sense of wonder at this splendorous cathedral. Your footsteps echo within the grand wing, bouncing off the sloped ceilings high above you as you take in the sights. A long column of dozens upon dozens of fine wooden pews flank a grand carpet that extends ever onward towards the center of the cathedral, lit by fine candelabras whose warm glow warms the wing and ushers you further into the hall. On either wall, towering windows reveal the starry night sky. High above, at the end of the wing, stands a grand statue depicting Arabella, one of the three members of the Triad. From your point of view, you can see two other statues high up facing the other two wings, presumably of the other two gods of the Triad, Hiriat and Terra. I really wish that Barker was here for this,
Oof.
because he's kind of a Triad guy too.
The other guy. So I don't remember. I might have missed it if it was established or said out loud. This is an Arabellian chapel,
It's a
Type deal.
triad.
So,
Triad.
just
chapel.
general triad.
yes.
Okay.
So,
Cedric is gonna put away his unknown amulet and take out the Arabella one from under his shirt.
so I'll have Ross.
Just kind of like discreetly.
Yes. So I'll have Roscoe and Kevril roll for religion. Rosani and Badger, you already will know this information if they succeed.
Swag. Arabella cleric gang.
That is a 17.
Yo,
17, okay.
nice. Siggins, are you you're muted?
I rolled a 10,
Giddens is
Double dig.
barely.
A 10, you said?
10, yes.
Okay. So, to give you a quick once over of the religious beliefs of humanity, thus far in Paradine, you've seen more dedicated churches to Arabella, Hiriat, and presumably Terra somewhere in the city, though you haven't really gone by it. Humanity worships a pantheon of gods called the Triad: Arabella, Hiriat, and Terra. You have heard quite a few people at this point, in most of the places you've gone, refer to the Triad or the Triad's light or whatnot, including Sir Clifford, who bid the Triad's light to shine brightly upon you in your journey south, amongst other people, such as Calhoun, who has offhandedly mentioned it, and just random passerby. You, during your time in Paradine, have gathered that this is kind of a big part of people's lives, their faith in the Triad. but it hasn't been an all-encompassing thing for them. It's not in the capital. That's really, Roscoe, that's about all you know. You know that the Triad is a very important aspect of humanity's beliefs. Kevril, and then Rosani and Cedric. Of course, you know that there's kind of a hierarchy where Arabella is the de facto leader of the Triad, while Hiriat and Terra are still important but lower upon the pedestal. And as such, maybe there are more specialists who would worship Arabella, but you know that the vast, vast majority of worshippers worship the pantheon as a whole. And really, pretty strange, pretty rare to see people who are so focused, such as Flint and Rosani. Rosani, of course, you know more of that. We've spoken on that.
Yep.
So yes, while you have heard more about the specific gods, having traveled with Flint and Rosani, the Triad is really the big group of gods that they worship. And it's clear that, especially in this place, at least in this cathedral, you gather that it's a pretty big deal, given the mountainous cathedral that you find yourself in. So, let's see. Barker,
Well, look who showed up.
welcome,
Hey, how's it
Barker.
going?
I think,
You sound like you're underwater
yeah,
right now.
you're speaking through
Mhm.
a block of lead.
Okay, hang on. Let me go get the other mic.
It got a little better just then.
Not enough.
Okay, hey, give me a second. Damn it.
Okay.
That's okay.
That didn't sound too bad.
It was all right. Initially, it was like, "Hey guys." Needs to get himself a blue snowball.
Ew. No. Do not buy a blue snowball.
Why not?
No. Because you can buy.
Bad.
There's so many better mics for your money.
Don't
You
you
can
like
literally just
the
buy a
silky
58.
sound?
Just buy a literal SM58 and you'll be set for literally all your needs.
I was on a budget.
SM58 is less expensive used than a snowball.
He was on an uneducated budget.
I was on an uneducated budget.
Yeah.
It was a recommendation.
I have a book that's about maybe like this thick. That's just pages of microphones and their response rates and their frequency patterns and their different. Yeah, I had to do it for school and stuff. And I know too much about microphones.
You weren't in the campaign when I bought a new mic.
I was not. That
how's
is fair.
this?
A little
good.
better. Just
Primo.
make sure you speak up. I'm going to turn you up to 200.
Okay, well, how's it now? It was far
That's good.
away.
Better.
That sounds
Yeah.
good to me.
Okay. Barker,
It's
I'm
Flint o'clock.
gonna recap once you're in. I'm gonna recap the things that we've started the session with because it's mostly just like description of the setting that Flint may find very interesting.
Okay, did it say I joined? Because I see my tabletop is no longer open.
It said you
disconnect.
joined and then you disconnected.
Awesome.
Very cool.
Cause your camera went bye-bye.
I know. I turned it off for a second because I went
Okay.
AFK for a second. I was cleaning up something.
Ah.
He's taking his pants off.
So
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
you wouldn't need to even.
Wouldn't
I mean, I
wouldn't
probably
even
would.
want you to turn the camera off for
Yeah, I was
that.
gonna say, well, I mean, not even that. I think I could do it without even looking
Might have to-
conspicuous.
Might have to turn the stream off, but
So yeah, Roscoe and Kevril, what I described to you is about what you know of the Triad. You have a general idea of the tenets of the faith, but as non-practitioners, presumably, you don't have a lot of the details on how they practice or what they practice or when and where. Presumably a cathedral. or whatnot. So, okay. Parker, you ready to go?
I believe so.
Awesome. Okay, so let me briefly describe to you what you've seen as you've ridden in. Everyone else, I'm just going to reread those blurbs that I read before. So, I am hoping you remember what happened last session. Gorn did some fucky wucky shit in the void, came back. Everyone thought he was crazy, and he said a bunch of stuff happened that you guys don't remember, but you said, yeah, it probably happened. And then you arrived in Magnolia. That's your recap. So,
Okay.
you guys arrived in Magnolia. Weary after a long day of travel, you decided to head to King Ashen's Cathedral to hopefully find the whereabouts of Duke Brolin, who you're to meet with. You guys clambered back upon your horses, and choosing a path at the fork, you trod down the dusty country roads past the long, snaking lengths of rotted fence. Slowly riding through the acres of decayed orchards, you caught a glimpse of a few small children nearby, giggling amongst themselves as they gathered apples from one of the few fruit-bearing trees left in the fields. Upon seeing you, they stopped and stared at you before doing something entirely unexpected. They smiled and waved. It occurred to all of you that this was perhaps the first time where your group had actually felt welcome in a new place. A lot of you waved back and smiled at them before they were spooked by some noise and ran off with their apples towards another area of the orchard. Despite the warm feelings, you dismissed it as the naivety of youth before a woman passed by and provided a similar reaction. At first, a quizzical stare as she perceived the admitted strangeness of your group, but then a softening of the face and a quiet and somewhat somber good evening as you passed by her. You guys continued into the town, down the valley, and as the rolling orchards, attended to by the occasional lonely house, soon gave way to bountiful fields of hardy brown barley, voluminous cabbages, thick bean vines, and other crops suited for the cool climate. The last rays of the sun pointed to the peasantry, tired and dirty from a hard day's toil, retreating to their homes, collected more densely along the outskirts of the town proper, and resting upon large tracts of loamy dirt. Flint, I will say that this is the first time that you've seen such large tracts of farmland above ground. Much of this is very unfamiliar to you, and please ask questions if you have any while I go through this.
I don't have a question, but how you said you thought I would like what I was going to hear, I was really expecting you to say that the kids were going to juggle.
Yeah. You actually, Flint, as you guys are riding away from the orchard, you take a glance back at the kids, and you see that one of them has grabbed a few apples from the basket and has attempted to huh with their friends, failing, and one knocks him on the head before they giggled and another grabbed them to try his own hand at juggling. Anyways, finally, as the sun was lost over the towering foliage of the forest of eternal spring to the east, your horses' hooves clacked noisily upon the cobbled paths before they were drowned out by the sonorous boom of 3 great cathedral bells, signaling the end of the day for the sleepy town. Warm torchlight and the cool, dull shine of the moon mixed to illuminate the town as you proceeded towards the cathedral. As you passed through the winding urban corridors, you couldn't help but notice that despite the apparent age of many of the buildings around you, they have been shockingly well maintained. Even to a dwarven standard, Flint. It's possible that a few of these refurbished stone buildings have been standing since the town first grew from a tiny hamlet almost 500 years ago. You wonder at the reverence these people must hold for their homes and how they compared to the shaky, war-torn settlements of the South and West. Even the capital, parodying humanity's giant, and your home as of late, were dulled in comparison. But of course, that was only architecture. And with no one out and about at that time of night, there was no telling exactly what type of life had kept the town in good repair. You guys came into like a main corridor and found a bunch of shops and a lot of market stalls that were almost completely unguarded. Cedric tried to determine if any of them were magically protected, but failed to do so, opting to stay away from them just in case they were. Finally, of course, you arrived at the large square that you may see on the map down here, where your little player icons are, and gazed upon King Ashen's Cathedral. King Ashen's Cathedral is a grand structure, towering well above anything else in the valley. 3 great wings with ornate sloped roofs and beautiful strong stonework, one for each member of the triad, converged by way of 3 grand flying buttresses to an all-seeing tower rising high into the sky. The tower climbs for several stories before terminating into a peaked bell tower where 3 humongous brass bells swing. A true testament to humanity's faith in the triad, the cathedral is one of the most beautifully impressive buildings you have ever seen, rivaling that of the great structures of the dwarves and the ruins of Armogan's Revenge, the old Triton colony far north in the sea. Flint, this building that you're looking at is comparable even to the dwarven holds that you have been in. Like, this is a fantastically beautiful structure. You have not seen anything like it in the other places you've been in the kingdom. Finally, despite the inactivity of the rest of the town, the square in which you were standing had the occasional group of clergymen, some of which immediately recognized Rosani and raised their hands in one greeting before returning to their business. Nearby, there was water from a fountain that noisily trickled from a few small holes in the stone, perhaps powered by some gravity stream underneath. Above it, perched atop a large stone pedestal, is a great statue depicting 2 figures, one a triumphant bearded human man, and another an elven man of otherworldly beauty, both clasping a sword pointed high to the sky. Flint, I will say you have next to no chance of having identified these individuals given your removal from the area. So you just have admired the beautiful stonework of the clearly very old statue.
Yeah, that sounds like Flint.
Awesome. While you guys were in the square, you were met by a tall copper dragonborn in flowing blue and gray robes named Tolzes, who is clearly Rosani's friend from the past, and who welcomed all of you to come into the cathedral, rest, and whatnot, while Rosani and Tolzes caught up. So you guys have just entered the cathedral, and I will describe it once more. Passing through the colossal double doors, you are all immediately struck by a sense of wonder at the splendorous cathedral. A long column of dozens of fine wooden pews flank a grand carpet that extends ever onwards towards the center of the cathedral, lit by fine candelabras whose warm glow heats the wing and ushers you further into the hall. On either wall, towering windows reveal the starry night sky, and high above at the end of the wing stands a grand statue clearly depicting Arabella, one of the 3 members of the triad. From your point of view, you can see 2 other statues high up facing the other 2 wings, presumably depicting the other 2 gods of the triad, Hiriat and Terra. Flint, in particular, you are struck by a sense of awe and reverence at this place. While you've practiced worship of Hiriat for some time, it's never something that found purchase in Suttonhold. And your rituals and worship were done in smaller, makeshift, almost ramshackle altars and chapels. But gazing around you now, you see that there is clear divine dedication to the worship of the Triad, not just Hiriat, but the other two patron gods as well. Flint, you have never, despite being in a very foreign land, with everything that you've experienced coming into this town so far, you have never felt such recognition and connection with a place, especially a holy place such as this. And from your point of view, you cannot even see the grand statuesque depiction of your god Hiriat. But you can tell with great certainty exactly what the statue would look like, even hundreds of feet away from it at the end of the Arabella wing.
Sorry, hang on. There's a lot to unpack
Take your
here.
time. Take your time.
Okay.
And you are just as awestruck as Flint is.
Yeah, you could say that. You said we're with the two. I forgot their names.
So you have all been led into the cathedral without your horses. The horses have been taken away and turned into glue. That's how they keep the cathedral together. That's how they keep all the old buildings together. They use glue.
Oh my god.
Steal and kill all the horses. Good lord.
Yeah. So you've seen like a few clergymen. The one that you have met is Tolzes, Tolzes. He's a tall, broad, 6'8" copper dragonborn.
6'8". Wow.
6'8".
Very tall.
He towers above all of you. Even
Board right
Gorn.
there.
Gorn's only like 6'3". So yeah, his name is Tolzes, and he's leading you through the wing as we speak.
6'8". That guy quite literally dwarfs Flint.
Is he like twice your height?
Uh,
No, Flint's bigger than that. He's twice
Oh, is he?
Roscoe's height. Twice and change.
I would say yeah, that is a large
Lizard.
being.
Large lizard man.
So is he leading us to a back room or something?
He's leading you towards the center of the cathedral. We're just going to sacrifice you.
Or a
Raise the
bullet's
child.
gonna fly through your head.
Yeah, it's going to be the Saint Valentine's Day massacre.
Oh no. Is this Tim or Siggins doing
Yeah, no,
this? I
that's
can't
that's
tell.
Connor.
That's what I thought.
You can tell by the eraser color.
Ah, okay. I didn't notice.
Is Flint going to say anything, or is he just kind of too captivated by everything?
I think initially, yeah, it's gonna be just captivation as of right now.
Okay.
Where you said that it's kind of broken up into different sections, right?
Yeah.
So where in relation to us would be like the Hiriat, you know?
Awesome. That's a great question. So right now, this one that you're in is Arabella. Over here, Terra. Over in this one, this third one here that I'm drawing a long line in, that's Hiriat.
Okay. Yeah, sorry, hang on. Tolzes is leading us just to the center, correct?
That is correct.
Okay, I'm gonna follow to the center and see what his plan is before Flint does anything.
Okay. He leads you guys to the center, and then when you get there, he pulls out a pistol, brains Flint.
As you do.
It's
All right,
funnier
this
in
was
the
fun.
other
I'll
campaign.
talk to you later.
Yep.
Hey, see you.
Sorry, David.
No!
So he brings you guys to the center. You look around and you see the center is kind of a grand stage and altar. In the center, there's a large circular statue that kind of serves as just one big altar terminating in three directions towards every wing of the cathedral. There's all sorts of other religious implements. There's some tables and other things around holding up like incense censers. There's candelabras, standing candlesticks, all sorts of things. And you see radially going up along several here. So if we go over to this little brown area that I'm drawing in red, if you're in the center, here's a wing, here's a wing, and here's a wing, and you might all benefit from looking at this.
Yeah, my headset's going dead. Fuck.
You see in each area, there's like a door. And Rosanna, you know that each one kind of radially leads up into a staircase that goes up towards the tower.
Okay.
So, in fact, we'll just put you over here. He brings you to the center. I hope you are not too tired to climb stairs. There are quite a few. Please.
Get there.
Are we too tired to climb stairs?
You guys are pretty tired.
I could wild shape into a bird.
Everybody roll a Constitution saving throw.
Oh my
Come on.
gosh.
Somebody gonna trip down the fucking stairs like Family Guy style.
This-
Yeah,
You rolled a
Gordon,
natural 20.
Gordon's gonna hit the bottom, and it'll go. "Ugh."
Did you say saving throw or check? I guess it doesn't matter for
Saving
me.
throw.
8.
8.
Out of 10.
Oh boy.
Everyone within 10 feet of me gets +3.
Nice.
Nice. You guys do
11.
5 stairs.
You said with he gets +3,
Yeah.
Thank
so I
God.
got 10. I'm about to fall down the fucking stairs. Damn it! I'm just gonna wild shape into a bird.
Well, and you could have got an 8.
None of us are gonna make it up the stairs.
You got. Jesus. The poison gas filling the cathedral, you also come to it.
Oh, wait, sorry. I got a 13. I'm an idiot.
He asks you, "You're not all too tired to climb stairs, are you?" And as you as you're still captivated by the splendor of this, but upon him saying such a generic, like offhanded thing, you realize, man, you are pretty tired to climb the stairs. The fatigue of the day, even atop, especially atop horseback, your legs are very sore from the riding through the forest. You're tired. You haven't taken many breaks. You are all very fatigued. You can all climb stairs, but you're very tired. And really, without saying anything, he looks around at you, especially at Gorn. Perhaps that answer is obvious. Well, there are not too many stairs. Please, come. You will soon rest. We will have meals for you and anything you need. He fishes into his robes. They have pockets, and he pulls out a key ring. proceeding over to one of the doors. And these aren't like a wooden door and then a like just stone wall. It's kind of like an iron cage door, and then you can see slats. Like it's like a railed cage that you climb the stairs up to, almost like in a theater. And you go up to the balcony. He noisily ka-chunk unlocks the door. The squeaky iron squeals and echoes through the cathedral as he beckons you upwards, climbing higher into King Ashen's cathedral. You guys are ushered up into the cathedral along the tall radial staircase, climbing dozens and dozens of stairs. Unfortunately, for how grand of a building it is, it doesn't have elevators. What's an elevator? But eventually, you make it up to the top. He briefly speaks with a few men and women of the cloth and explains what's going on. Of course, they recognize you, Rosani, and immediately defer to him. You are led to several spare rooms up in one of the living quarters. You're kind of in like a main room. It really just kind of feels like a living room. There's tables and chairs, um, like all sorts of stuff. People are just kind of sitting around reading from tomes and whatnot. And all around, there's a bunch of different rooms. Each one of you is brought to your own separate room. They're all basically identical. You open the door. There's a nicely sized cot, like a straw cot with blankets, a few like a chair and a small table, a few other loose pieces of furniture. They're a little small and lit by a single a couple of little candles, so they're a little dim, but they're certainly welcome after the long days of rest. They're pretty cozy, and being up here for all of you is rather calming. Please, I encourage you to rest. When you've taken some time to deal with your affairs, come up. There is another floor. We can bring you food. Again, if you need anything, then someone will be here to help you. We're friends of Rosani in the town, and we accept all those who need help here.
Thank you.
Yeah, we'll be right up, man.
Great. Rosani, he looks at you, and I will come by later. We talk.
Sounds good.
Gives you another toothy, razor sharp grin, and heads up the stairs, disappearing into another wing. You all have safe housing where you can take a long rest and take care of whatever mundane things you need to do, including washing yourselves and your armor. There's like wash basins in your room, and presumably you can find water somewhere to wash with, as well as other basic amenities.
I'm gonna try to find the vending machines on this floor.
Yeah,
Where's the ice maker? Yeah.
I was gonna say there's ice pops in the fridge. We have squinch or squeeze pops in the fridge if you want.
No way.
Do you have juice barrels?
Yes, my friend, we have juice barrels.
Squinch is one of those things that I could only see
In fact,
existing.
we have juice
in-
kegs.
Do you have bug juice?
We have booze.
God damn it. Booze, he says.
Booze.
Jesus Christ. You ever had bug juice before?
Oh yeah, I
Oh.
have.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say. It's a classic.
Okay. So
I should prepare spills.
yeah, if
Working on it.
so, you can all take a
Here's
long
Spellgang.
rest into the morning, but if there's anything you want to take care of, you all kind of retire to your own rooms unless you need to meet with each other for anything, and start going about your end of day tasks, taking off your armor and getting into actual clothing, etc., etc. Just resting. But is there anything specific that any of you want to do with this moment of solace?
What time is it approximately?
So the sun set when you kind of came into the main part of town, like the urban area. So it's summer, so it's later. It's pretty late in the evening.
I think that all that I would do is just look out the window, try to take in the city a bit.
Cedric's gonna
See
go
what I see.
door to door to all the other members of the party and knock and ask if they're down for like a night on the town. Hit the bars.
Well, technically, I only have to sleep 4 hours at a time.
Well, technically. Okay,
That
Jesus.
I
makes,
could-
that makes one of
I
us.
could.
So Kevral's down to party, is what you're
I could
saying?
come out. Yeah.
You know, I would be down if I didn't have to climb all those stairs again. That really took the wind out of my sails. I need some time. I need to recover.
What if you didn't have to climb the stairs again?
Elaborate.
Ride your horse.
What
up
what
them.
do you mean?
What if
Brett,
I
are the
wild
stairs
shaped
are the stairs
into a bird?
500 feet or less?
How would that
Up.
help him?
He would hold on to me.
You'd have
Yeah,
to be
they're
a big
500
bird.
feet or
I'd be a
less.
big bird.
Roscoe, I could teleport us.
You can teleport us up and down the stairs?
Only once. We'd have to go down.
Ah.
Well, this is actually assuming, Brett, that we got our spell slots back from the combat that didn't actually happen.
Yes.
Gotcha. I could teleport us
What combat?
because I didn't cast banishment on a man who didn't exist.
Did you just say go to combat?
I said what
Oh.
combat?
Oh,
I
I
was like, we're
kill
moving to combat?
I kill Roscoe.
Yeah.
Snap his
Yeah.
neck.
Not terribly hard.
you
A stiff
Cedric,
breeze.
Cedric, you open the door looking for Roscoe, and instead, a man turns around. He's got a fucking LMG, and he just ricka-ticka-ticka-ticka-ticka, and lights you up.
God.
Can't wait for my next character.
It's that guy.
Oh no,
That guy, bro. You're
With
not
the
that
gun.
guy, pal.
not that guy, bro.
You're not
You are that guy now.
Oh shit.
You know what?
So no night on the town.
I mean, I
mean-
think I'll take you up on that offer as long as I don't have to climb all those stairs.
Do you
All
want
right.
to piggyback?
Are you offering a piggyback?
Yes.
I would happily accept it. If it means I don't have to walk down all those stairs.
Oh my god.
Dude, you cannot be upset because you offered.
I'm not upset. I'm just exasperated.
You offered the piggyback ride.
I know. And I'm.
Rosani, where are the good bars?
Do I know where a good bar is?
Rosani.
Can someone who knows nightlife assist?
Because when I
Concierge.
lived here, I didn't really participate in nightlife.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I need you to roll a history check.
$11?
While
could it be?
alcohol is not necessarily banned here, you know that this is a very, very religious community.
Right.
There are not taverns.
Right.
Not yet.
How the fuck did we end up in Graham, Texas, in D&D? There aren't like wine bars.
No.
There are
That'd be cool.
there are no Rosani, you know that while you can get alcohol, there are not like recreational drinking areas in this town.
Fucking dry
Well-
counties.
Like wine or
What about
something.
ciders? We drove by an apple orchard.
So, okay,
we could get some alcohol and bring it. I don't want to bring it in the cathedral.
I'll do it.
That makes
I have
me
no
feel
reservations.
even worse.
No, see, I like hold up the amulet of Arabella. I'm good.
Or
It's like
we
backstage
can
entry.
take the time
No.
to explore around the city while it's quiet.
That we could do.
What is
And-
there to do at night here, Rosani?
Look at the vineyard,
You're-
the
Look.
orchards.
Look at the orchards.
Yeah, Rosani, you know that
There's not much.
people, this is a beautiful, picturesque town, but there is kind of a reason why it has been maintained like this. You spent most of your time studying in the cathedral, learning of the triad and humanity's religion. But ultimately, most of the people who live here are very, very duty bound, driven. At night, there are not really people that go out too much, as you've seen in the barren city that you've gone out to. And yeah, I'll just no, we'll leave that. That's what you know. It's not. It's a very wonderful, calm place to live, but it's not very bustling.
Yeah.
Okay.
People
God damn it.
people have their own fun. People make their fun here. People will drink and make merry, but it's generally on their own time with their own people.
Our own house.
Yes, there aren't too many public displays of debauchery.
Yeah.
People keep that shit behind closed doors here.
Flint, can I ask you a question? Oh
What?
my god, they got him. Oh,
Sorry, it didn't process that he said Flint at first.
I was gonna say, Flint, did you bring any beverages on you? I know you're,
No. See, I can make
Craftsman.
them. I can make them. However, I currently do not possess them. Does
Yeah.
anybody have any mead worms just lying around by chance?
What happened to that one we had? You know,
yeah, whatever happened to
I
that?
believe it's
got his
dead.
name. Oh,
Yeah.
Dude, Bart.
He is.
That's right.
He's dead. Yes. Very dead.
Oh,
how'd he
Yeah.
die?
Gorn
sorry for your
Gorn has
loss.
just come out of his room and he looks over. Neglect.
Oh, that's
Listen, man. If here, I was listening, the doors are kind of thin here. Right. He looks over at a couple clergymen. Why don't we just ask like some of these guys? Maybe they got some.
You think they're just gonna give us their
Some
alcohol?
alcohol.
And he
Is-
just looks over at the two clergymen.
Holy wine a thing?
And they look at each other.
I'm just gonna start like wandering the halls looking for just like a wine room.
Gordon's gonna roll a persuasion, and he got a fucking 18.
Yeah,
Plus whatever his
boy!
bonus is.
Oh my god,
Oh my
Gorn.
God.
One of the
Where's
one of the
Gorton?
clergymen looks at him and says, looks at his other clergyman buddy. Well, the day's toil is over. These are guests here, accompanied by Sister Rosani. Who are we to not share in the gifts of the Triad? Allow me one moment, brothers.
Yeah, Gorn.
He goes upstairs
Actually, kind of huge.
and procures. He comes back down with a bottle of wine. Before I joined my brothers and sisters to serve the Triad here, I worked the orchards. I believe this place was once famed for its wine while the trees still grew strong. Now not so much, but we still make do. He looks at you with a pretty serious look. Be careful not to overindulge, guests.
Yes, sir.
Absolutely, man.
He hands it over to Gorn, looks over at you. Yeah. Bam! He shoots himself in the head. He looks over at you, Rosani. May the Triad's light shine upon you and your companions.
As well.
He goes upstairs to a different wing. Gorn looks.
Congratulations, Gorn.
Yeah, Gorn
Yeah.
looks over. This is great. I mean, look at that. We just asked this like holy man or something if he could give us booze, and he did. I mean,
You do realize that their orchards are dying, and that's probably one of the last bottles of wine that they made?
oh, probably not. Listen, Rosani. He looks at you with like mad, crazy eyes, and he's like, "I need this right now. Okay, so I don't really care that much, you know."
Why don't we
I
all?
appreciate all your people's hospitality, and it's a big building. It's pretty cool, whatever. But it's like we got a lot going on right now.
Yeah.
Hey,
So I'm gonna
hey,
take
man.
this. Dunk. He
Settle down,
just
okay?
rips the cork out. I'm just gonna take some of this, just a little bit. I'm not
Gorn.
gonna overindulge, and I'm gonna,
Oh, that's half of it, wasn't it?
it is. It just shoots the whole fucking thing down. He
I
goes.
mean, Gorn is pretty big.
Gorn is very.
I mean, they seem fine with it. They just drink. It's not like it's like Arabella herself probably. He looks at you. She didn't come down and say like thou shalt not drink wine. I mean, why would she make like trees then if that's what you believe?
Gorn?
Oh wait, that's Terra. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Drunk.
Gorn,
What?
Why don't we pass
Settle down,
around
okay?
the bottle?
let's get out of the hallway. Okay, man. Let's go in Rosani's room.
Why
And
my
we'll,
room?
I had to
You
pick
are a
one.
host. Kind of.
I had to pick one, and let's be honest, we kind of know yours is probably a little bit bigger. We were all thinking it. And let's drink some wine and talk about the game plan for tomorrow. Right?
Sure.
That's tomorrow?
That's tomorrow.
That's on the agenda?
That's up to you guys.
Yep.
No, we're actually just not going to do it. We're going to go back. Fuck them.
Great vacation, guys. It was a really cool building. Let's get the
We
fuck out of
we went to a dry county, sat in a church, and then went home the day after. That's awesome. What a vacation.
here. Wow. Just wait till you get to the the Triad's light shines upon Magnolia. Wait till you get to where the red light shines upon Magnolia. That's all I'm saying. Baseline, 70s porn baseline.
You can't drink, but you could fuck.
Prostitutes. That's what I'm talking
Oh.
about.
Oh, okay.
Thanks, Brett. Thanks.
Don't ban a Switch.
Anyways, so
Audio jungle.
you all gather you all gather into Rosani's cozy room. Might I remind you that they're not very big.
No, like Holiday Inn king size bed type deal. Like even worse. Like that size about roughly.
It's probably like that big, yeah.
Nice. Okay.
Cozy.
Cozy.
So you all kind of cram yourselves in and pass around the bottle of wine. All of you, it's a fruity wine. You get hints of apple and plum and other fruits that you can't really recognize. It's very flavorful, a little old, a little flat.
Do we have glasses, or are we just passing the
Or
bottle?
just passing.
You
Just
guys
passing the
have
bottle.
I'm sure some of you have like tankards and other things in your little kits that you pour from, but for the most you use what you can basically.
I drink out of like a vial. 'Cause
Yeah.
that's all I have.
All right. Cool. So what's the game plan? Let's get this done, so I can leave and we can,
Um,
So who's gonna do the talking?
Oh, I feel like Rosani has the best chance of getting us in at least.
That's funny.
I take the bottle away from Roscoe.
I agree, Gordon.
Look, I know that the whole, communication thing isn't the best. But as we've seen, you have some credibility.
Well, you know what, man? I was just gonna ask because I'm prepared to enhance someone's abilities magically tomorrow.
I could
Should-
do that as well.
Should we want someone with enhanced speech abilities,
I
man?
feel like if we I can understand where Roscoe's coming from since I did live here and I don't necessarily know the Duke myself, but I've seen him around and I know other people know me. I do have kind of a sense of credibility, so to say.
Street cred.
But I am also not great talking to people, and I worry that even with
That's true.
the enhanced ability of being able to talk better, it wouldn't do much in the way to actually aid me. So I'm wondering if we use that on someone who is already pretty proficient with communicating with people like Roscoe, and we kind of do like a little dual team action with my credibility and your ability to actually
What if
talk to
what if
people.
you're like the main person, but then Roscoe's like your like he's your talker,
Yeah,
and you just kind of like he's like your representative.
yeah.
So you still get the
Well,
street cred.
more so like I'm there to verify that what he's saying is accurate and valid.
Well, isn't this guy supposed to know we're coming anyways? Like,
Yes.
I don't know. Why can't we just go up and say like, "Hey, we're the guys,"
That's true. I guess we could do
We're the
that.
boys.
you know,
Yeah.
like we're the boys and the girl, and we go up and we
Thanks,
say,
Glenn.
"Hey, you know, I'm not going to do it. What did this guy like? I'm staying away from that guy.
Goran, you're going to do all of the negotiations.
Oh God, no.
I'll beat you to death."
I mean, you just get us
Okay.
to the line. You
Listen.
got some talent.
Roscoe, I will toss you from the bell tower. I saw how tall it was, and you'll die.
I'm
Tall.
more worried to climb up.
500
Um,
feet.
And then if you
As
do,
long as I kill me the stairs will.
and then if you do live, you'll have to climb up the stairs again, and then I'll toss you again. Not in the mood for games right now.
Either way, I think we won't have much of an issue actually getting in and talking. Question is what does he actually want us to do about the elf settlement that is near, like, the outside of town?
The other thing to consider is we got that optional side objective where we're supposed to record the conversation.
I feel out of everyone here, if we had you do it, Cedric, you're pretty good at doing stuff that not everyone sees. Sometimes.
Thanks,
Magically, I could
man.
aid with that also, if need be.
We have so
In
many
term-
magical aids,
In terms of
enhanced abilities.
what specific? Oh, you can also enhance abilities. Is that what
We
you're
have
referring to,
3
Kevril?
ability enhancers.
I suppose you could say that, yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
That's cryptic.
Well, now I feel like I need to enhance someone's ability as well.
So I'll enhance Roscoe. Kevril will enhance me. And Rosani, you will
Oh.
enhance Otis.
Why?
Back up.
I do not need enhancement. I am functioning at 100% capacity.
There you go.
What if you were at like 110 though?
Impossible.
Right. I'll hold on to it.
Ace in the hole.
Yeah. Not
Yeah,
sure
Flint
what's-
jumps in and just says, "Sorry, my mic was muted."
Aw.
He sews his tongue back on.
Yeah. But yeah, I think we just play it by ear and just kind of see what happens. Like Rosani said, I think we'll get in relatively easily, and then from there, we just kind of play it as it lies, I guess.
You know, I don't disagree with that. You know, Flint, you're a smart guy, right? You know things. Like, yeah, we don't even know what the fuck we're doing. You know, like, what are they doing up there? Or what are we doing? You know, like maybe we're just gonna have to figure it out. You know,
Yeah.
I don't think there's a whole lot we can plan for with this.
I do have a good plan, actually.
What's
Go
your
on.
plan?
Go ahead.
Grabs the bottle of wine. Upon reconsideration, it's not a good plan.
What was
It was
your
just a
call?
rude. I was just going to make a rude comment, and I'm sorry.
Who is it going to be directed at?
It was going to be at most of you. Here you go, Kevin.
Is
Okay.
he handing me the bottle?
Yeah.
Found it.
I grab and just cork it, and then just hold it.
How far down did we get before it was corked?
3/4 of the way.
It's not bad. What fraction of that was Gorn?
3/4 of the way.
The rest
Gorn's had more of a share than everyone else.
He's also more of a person than most of us.
Avril doesn't drink.
Rosani's not in a mentally poor state to drink anymore.
That's first.
It is a first.
Man,
Surprisingly.
that's happened twice. Once in session 1, and once in session 65. That's awesome. Wow.
Cedric will just kind of like open the bag of holding, and if Kevin wants to put it in there, unless he wants to just carry it around.
I'll put it in there.
All right.
I
Closed,
never
done,
started
sealed
the
away.
event in Discord. Start event.
Hey guys, welcome to session 65 of the collective.
Yeah.
All right. So I feel like we need a game plan when we're actually talking to the Duke.
I don't.
What do we need to get? What do we need to?
Well, my
I thought he knew that we were coming here
But-
to help
but-
with the elves.
Yeah. So obviously we're gonna be able to get to him and talk to him, but we
Mhm.
need to figure out what information we need to get.
How long they've been there, if they've been violent or not, if they have made any requests or demands, or if they're just, chilling.
I think public opinion might also be important, knowing how the people at large seem to be receptive.
Yeah.
Because it seemed like whenever we were coming in that the people around here are exceptionally friendly to those that they are strangers to.
Yes, they are.
So who knows? It may not even be a problem, at least
true.
from the public's point of view.
Brett, remind me again, when we came in, do we know the reason why all of the orchards and stuff are like dying off, or is that just kind of, they just are?
It is a mystery to everyone.
Well, maybe we can ask about that if that's relevant or not.
All right. If I'm doing most of the talking, I'll try to get as many answers to those questions as I can.
And we can also always come up with more questions on the fly
Of course.
based around the answers.
So is that bottle going to be put away for the night, or is it like... There wasn't much left.
There wasn't much left.
So let's carry it around for not a lot of wine.
You're right. Badger. Sorry, Cedric. Give me the bottle.
No,
No,
Gordon, I
no,
think you've had enough.
You said there wasn't much left. Look, I'm.
I know.
Yes, and you've had
and
most
you've
of it.
had almost all of it.
That's not true.
Do you think I would lie to you?
He looks around.
As he's looking around, I pull some out and I take a swig and I put it back.
Damn, I guess you probably wouldn't hear, right? Okay. I trust you. Fine.
And Roscoe,
Take it out. I take it out and I behind the back pass it to Roscoe.
But I'm watching you.
Pop it. Take a swig.
Okay.
I'll hand it out to Rosani.
I'm good, but thank you.
Flint?
I'm okay for right now, thank you.
Otis?
Yes, please. I would love to partake in wine.
I hand Otis the bottle.
Kung.
He just dumps the rest of the bottle down his face.
Some of
Is
it,
that all of it, Otis?
some of it just seeps into the cracks into his servos, and he kind of.
He's loosened up.
Thank you.
Take it back. I
That
hope
was a
you
really bad
enjoyed that.
pun.
Alrighty.
To
Alright.
be determined.
I think it's
Okay.
about time I get some rest.
I think it's about
We've
time
had-
we all got rest.
Between me,
long
Roscoe,
day.
and Otis, we finished the bottle.
Yeah. I'm assuming
We
we're
don't give it to we don't give it to Otis again though. So between me and Roscoe.
Yes.
Okay.
Then I'm gonna go retire to my room.
Okay, Cedric.
Yeah. I think same deal.
Cool. Kivas.
I will go do my thing.
This thing.
Not quite.
Okay.
He's gonna go murder a woman in her home.
Yeah. Chugga, 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 chugga.
No.
Please, no,
No.
not again.
Flint, are you doing anything or just going to rest?
Flint is going to take a walk back downstairs.
Okay. Flint, you clamber down the big ass flight of stairs. God, you would never walk this much in at least up and down in Suttonhold. The door has been left unlocked for you. You go through, ching, close the iron gated door behind you, and you're standing upon the grand central altar.
Gonna kind of just look around, for a moment, and then slowly meander over towards the big statue of Hiriat.
So, Flint, you you meander for a little while, just kind of looking around and once again taking in the sights of this grand building. And after a time, you do wander over towards the wing for Hiriat. You gaze upon the statue high above you, set into the stone, and gazing down upon the columns of pews. This is a familiar depiction of Hiriat, sort of an androgynous cat-like sphinx with short hair and holding a grand set of scales. Very irregular, especially for humanity to choose. The other two members of the triad are depicted as being humanoid. But regardless, this is what they've settled on for Hiriat's depiction. You look at it for some time and once again are awash with emotion as you kind of take in the sanctity of this place and realize that this is a place of worship, not just for Hiriats, but still involving them regardless.
Around the statue, like is there places to sit or do something like that kind of thing, or is it just like plain like statues just kind of out in the open deal?
So let me draw it on here. So I'll draw the wing here, and this. I'm going to stop drawing right there, and so it kind of curves upward into a sloped, like, dome roof. And then above, clearly where you can't see, there's flat where, you were standing before. The statue is hanging high on the ceiling and looking down. And then on either side, basically the entire length of the wing, there's wooden pews.
So the statue is suspended, right?
It's kind of built into the stone of the ceiling. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, Flint's gonna just kind of meander, take the sights in, look up, the walls, take it all in. And then he's gonna sit, not in a pew exactly, just kind of somewhere on the ground, like underneath where the statue is.
Okay.
And then he's gonna start, he'll say like a prayer, to himself, kind of deal. And then like he'll start speaking aloud, kind of like, to Hiriat in a sense. And he's just gonna kind of start with, I'm not really sure if you're even aware of who I am, or that, I've kind of pledged myself to your way of life. But with that said, there's been times, you may or may not know this, still speaking to Hiriat, where my faith in your beliefs is kind of what guided me when I essentially did not have anything else. And then he's just going to kind of pause for a little while and just say something along the lines of, hopefully my faith will pay off and you can kind of prove that, not necessarily prove, but give me a sign or something of that nature that my past has kind of led me in the right direction. And then he's just going to sit there for a little bit.
Okay. Go and roll a religion check for me.
Hang on. Uh, 13.
13? Okay. Okay. You sit there for some time after having spoken aloud to Hiriat and professed what you're feeling. After a time, you hear the ching. One of the iron doors from the staircases creak open once more. You gaze over across the stage and you see Tolzes, the dragonborn man that had led you in, Rosani's friend. He notices you sat by the statue and walks over to you, his robes billowing and flowing behind him. He comes to you and stops. Good evening, brother. I am not interrupting your prayer, am I?
No, did you hear that? Or
Some of it. May I sit with you?
yeah.
Thank you. He kind of lifts his robes and plops himself down. Tell me about yourself, friend.
Well, where do you want me to start?
Wherever you think is important.
Um, well, basically, um, I am not from around here. This whole, general way of life is relatively foreign to me. Um,
He nods. A strange place it is, huh?
Strange, but at the same time, familiar in a sense. Um, and that's, primarily just because this is really the first time I've ever been in an establishment that has recognized here yet, let alone, had any actual um, sacred type of, homages to her. Homage? Either way. Um, and so, I don't know what you had just heard or overheard from what I was just kind of going through. But to keep it brief, where I come from, um, and just my people, we don't necessarily here yet. Really, isn't a a god that we typically put faith into. And my situation is unique because I was taken, from my original birthplace, so to speak, and I was kind of separated from the family, and so I grew up among other people that shared various beliefs. And, as I kind of gained different perspectives, here yet is what kind of called to me, and ever since then, I've never really had any concrete type of even proof. Like, this is the first time I'm seeing a display of here yet, so it's a lot to take in. So I'm not exactly sure of where to go from here. And there's more of a sense of it's familiar, comforting, and bewildering all at the same time. And I guess it's just, I guess I would say that this is calming for me to see that the things that I've believed in for so long are actually, coming to some fashion of fruition.
He nods in solidarity. I understand too well your pain, my friend. I, too, come from a land where the Triad's light is not recognized. The light of the Triad shines upon all places, but it is up to each and every one of us to open our eyes to it. There are quite a few who have not. We weep for them, but we help those who come to us in search of it to find it and be bathed in its golden rays. It has given me much purpose here in an otherwise purposeless life. It has given many of these people purpose and hope too. The path ahead may be shrouded in darkness. The Triad's light can illuminate all, so long as your faith in it is strong, brother. Despite your confusion, you seem to me a righteous man. strong in its ideals. Hiriat is one great aspect of the Triad, and it is respected to dedicate yourself to him so strongly.
Well, I gotta say, I appreciate the things that you're saying, because this is the first time that I've ever really had validation from somebody regarding this aspect of life, and seeing as it kind of drives who I am, and it's always been somewhat of a loose thing. It's rather comforting to be in this position currently.
Of course. He looks around for a moment. My dear friend did not choose to reveal the exact reason why you are here. I suspect it is because of the elves that have taken hold outside of the fort. Am I correct?
Well, let me ask you, what's the general consensus on what do you and the tenants of this land think of the elves' presence? And, how has it been kind of impacting your way of life, if it has at all?
Just here in Magnolia, we believe that all those who come to our lands should be given the chance to be bathed in the Triad's light. He loosens his robe sleeve, and you watch as he pulls it down and reveals his arm. You see that there is a gruesome mark from what appears to be an arrow wound in his arm. Twice, Duke Brolin, along with some of his retinue and members of the clergy here, attempted to make contact with those who have taken up in the fort. With peace in our hearts, we are fired upon twice. Not all were as lucky as me. A shadow covered the Triad's light on those days. He pulls his sleeve back up. I do not know of their intent or why they fired upon us. Duke Brolin and his men have taken up in an encampment at the bottom of the hill near the fort. They have not made any moves for several days. But I am no diplomat, nor lord. I am only here to serve the Triad and spread its light to all those who come for it. I know not of what he will do next. But Duke Brolin is a righteous and holy man. We here trust that he will make the decision that is best for Magnolia and for the Triad. I hope that it can be a nonviolent one. But those who choose to live in the shadow of the Triad's light may find only ruin, brother.
So, aside from attempting to approach them directly, has there been any other contact? Have they ever been in to the town, or do they just kind of stay out by the forest, and is it only when contacted are they hostile, or?
That I do not know. You would have to speak to the Duke about it. But from what I know, there have been none that have exited the fort since they have arrived. I know not their purpose there. Perhaps they are afraid of us, but then why would they fire upon us? The mind wanders, brother.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not really too sure, honestly. It could be that they're afraid. I suppose we don't exactly know where they came from or what forced them into the forest. But maybe we'll find out.
I hope you are successful in it. He stands up. It is good to speak to you. Not all who come to our lands are so familiar with our beliefs. It is refreshing. I hope you continue to spread the light of Hiriat and the Triad elsewhere.
Thank you for coming to talk to me. It has brought me a great sense of peace, I would say.
Of course.
And we will see what we can do.
Yes. Keep the faith, brother.
I'll give him the arm back.
What?
Well, you did like the arm across the chest.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. It would probably make, if I had the camera on, it'd be a lot,
Throws punch.
Now, Glenn, can I please have my arm back?
Just rip his arm off.
Yes. Peace, brother. Srash! Crash! Boom,
And then I
boom!
bought a Glock.
And then he shoots you, yeah. Okay. Let's see. Rosani.
Yes.
As you have kind of prepared yourself, in fact, it's exactly your old room that you have been set back in. You kind of look around with a great sense of familiarity. You're at the precipice of something very strange. A mix of, well, a mix of great familiarity with being here again and being surrounded by a place and people that you know and recognize. And also the potential meeting with your mother, gone for many years and whom you thought you would never see again. It's ironic to you how both extremes of this spectrum have met in the same place. And as you ponder it quietly for a time, you hear the door creak open. You see near the top of the door, a head kind of peeks in, Toll says. I hope I am not interrupting your prayer, sister.
No, you're not.
May I come in?
Sure. Of course.
Ka-chunk. Stands there for a moment.
So you didn't put this room to use at all?
We expect your return in 2 months' time. What is a year?
That's true.
It is very good to see you, my friend, but I sense you are troubled.
Yes. I am quite troubled, actually.
Well, though I serve the light of the Triad, I am also, of course, your friend. You may speak freely.
So, I recently have discovered that my mother is still around and kicking and doing God knows what. And it's weird. I'm supposed to meet her very soon, and I don't know quite how to feel about it.
How did you learn of this? And where is she?
Um, I'm not sure how much of that I can answer. I learned this spell.
Oh my god, it's Rosani's mom is there! Oh, she's in the room, guys! She's real!
Jesus.
She's back with the Glock! Watch out! Sorry, anyways.
I learned this spell that basically gives me the ability to see a certain person over an innumerable amount of space. I can see them where they're at and them for a short time, like a minute or so. So I cast that spell on my mother, and I saw her again. I think it was about 2 weeks ago or so. So
He looks at you with a sense of restrained bewilderment at you describing that process. You were able to gaze upon your mother from so far away. Well, seems the gap has widened quite substantially then, huh? Rosani, that power is unheard of. You were always. It pains me to admit it, but your gift was always stronger than mine, stronger than most. But to be able to perform such a miracle, you've clearly gone through very much in your pilgrimage. That much is true, but you are. Well, it's unheard of. I dare not. I dare not reference a grand cleric with such. Well, such flippance. You know I speak seriously when I say that to perform such a feat is a quite unheard of. And yet you have. Do you understand? Of course, this is a tremendous, tremendous thing. Impossible. I've never. I've only ever read of it before.
well, I don't want to sound ungrateful, 'cause I'm not. But if I had the option to not have gone through what I've gone through and not have this ability, I probably would choose that.
My friend, you. Whatever path you have been taken on, it is. Rosani, my friend, you. I do not use this term lightly, but you are a cleric. True and realized, and chosen by the Triad themselves to have gone through such ordeals and come out how you are. It is a sign you are on the correct path, of course. He looks at you as you kind of look down and I'm sorry. I forget myself.
No, it's. You don't have to apologize.
What?
It's just been a lot that has been going on. And to be honest, I don't know how to feel about most of it.
I know not of all your ordeals, friends, but you have safety and sanctity here. You are supposed to return at, at the highest months of summer, but to me it is clear you have far exceeded any expectations of your journey. You could stay here. It is a peaceful place. You do not have to engage in what you have done for forever.
I would like to think that at some point in my life I can return. But there's so much left to do. And I could not live with it if I just left. And I'm not sure when it'll all be over, but I know it'll be more than 2 months. That's for sure.
I understand.
Want to hear about what I've done?
If you can maintain your composure.
Don't talk about Calhoun. Don't talk about Calhoun. Don't talk about Calhoun.
I just want to go on through the night, basically telling him about all that has happened in the last 10 months.
Okay. Do you omit anything?
Probably the part where you melted a dude.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to
Any accidental gruesome murders.
PG-ify the entire story.
It's
and
TG, actually. Try its
And-
guidance.
Oh, of course. And maybe cut short a little bit of the parts about Calhoun. Other than
Dang.
that, no.
Damn.
No.
Friend zoned.
No, it's not that. She just doesn't know how to talk about it fully yet.
So, just a little point. This triadism is not like you have to be celibate. Like
Yeah, I
people
know.
are allowed. They're like rabbis and shit.
I know.
That's for everybody else. You can be banging. Cedric, you're on deck. Flint,
in the hole.
Hello?
You're gonna be.
Hello?
You can visit Suttonhold if you know what I mean.
Alrighty.
Jesus fucking Christ. That was
Yeah, da,
awful.
da, da, da. Boom.
That's the end of the session.
And that's the end of the session
No,
today, guys.
no.
I actually, before I want to like go back in time a little bit before Rosani's little conversation and all that.
Sure.
Well, maybe. Rosani, do you still have like a copious amount of gold worth of incense on you?
I do not actually.
1,000 gold pieces.
Because I
worth?
bought you a shit ton. Not that
You-
many.
Did?
I don't remember if you used it or not. That's my question.
So I used part of it to. I think I used part of it to.
Hallow the estate.
Why do I have
yes.
a blinded card on my thing?
Wrong character.
Yeah,
Awesome.
to. No, this is my character sheet, bro.
No, Essa.
Oh.
That's a joke thing.
Yes, I
Ooh.
used part of it to cast Hollow on our estate, but I was also wanting to do Hollow in the castle, and I think I had you buy enough stuff to do both. So yes, I think I do have a copious amount of incense.
And Cedric borrowed 25 gold worth.
Yes.
Cedric's
Okay.
the party's sugar daddy.
Fuck.
Let me look up Hollow and see how much.
You're not going to be able to cast it if
Yeah, well,
you
I
give me
know.
some, but I will give you back some later.
Wait, you said I had you buy 1,000 gold
I-
pieces?
Thought?
Wait, no.
I know you had me buy enough for multiple castings. Whether or not,
Okay.
I don't know the amount though.
Okay.
Because I don't know Hollow. I don't know how to cast that, so I haven't looked into it.
Basically, you need 1,000 gold pieces of herbs, oils, and incense. But I think when I first had you buy it, I had you buy just 1,000 gold worth of incense. So I had to go back out and buy 1,000 gold worth of herbs, 1,000 gold worth of oils. So I think
Okay,
I
regardless, do you have it?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I do. I have a
I will
shit ton.
borrow 25 gold worth of incense.
Easy.
And in my room,
I'll give you 100 gold worth of incense.
I don't even accept it. Rejected. 25 only. Are you trying to avoid changing too many digits?
I just want to get rid of my incense.
I mean, I'll take it off your hands.
All right. So what are you doing, Basher?
Could
So-
I'm
also
gonna
use it.
I'm going to ritual cast divination in my room.
Okay. So, you set up the you set up the incense in different areas around the room, and methodically lighting them around you. You take a seat upon the ground, surrounded by the smoke of the incense. You breathe in and out and center yourself, preparing to consult, well, with a higher power. Let's talk about exactly what you're trying to do.
The notebook comes out.
Oh boy.
I feel like I'm at therapy or something.
Are you?
I don't know. I don't think so. Am I asking my question? Or are you what's going on here?
So,
He's writing a lot of things, and I haven't even done anything yet.
No. It's frightening.
I guess my question is, who are you trying to contact here?
Who?
That's a great question, because it does specify that I am reaching out to a higher power, doesn't it?
Yes, it's incense and a sacrificial offering appropriate to your religion. Together worth at least 25 gold pieces, which it consumes.
I think, given that my new deity, I'm not like super certain of, don't know what's going on with that yet. We are in a temple of the Triad, and I did switch out to my Arabella um, amulet for this. And the question I'm going to ask is relevant to Arabella's domain. So I will reach out to Arabella despite our history.
Okay. Go ahead.
Or the Triad as a whole. Whichever, I guess it was kind of unclear if I was strictly Arabella or Triad as a whole back in the day.
We'll put you as just triadic.
Okay.
So you're reaching out to whoever picks up the phone here.
Yeah.
Okay. What is your question?
Um
Word it
my
exactly how you want to say it.
okay.
So if you need a moment, go ahead.
I want to make sure I'm specific enough,
Of course.
yet vague enough. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to hit that middle point.
I understand.
Um is there anything we can do to better prepare us for the upcoming peace talks with the elves in the fort? Never used divination before, just taking a shot, hope something helps.
For upcoming peace talks with the elves in the fort.
Damn, he wrote it down verbatim.
Yeah, you did.
Bullet comes through the window.
Okay. Cedric, you reach out, hoping to make contact with the Triad and have them grant you some divine knowledge to better prepare yourself and your fellows for the ordeals to come. You utter your question and sit there for some time focusing and awaiting a response. And then, yeah, bullet comes and hits you in the head.
I like to think that that's what would like somehow Cedric is gonna fuck up the peace talks. So that's the solution is just take him out of the picture. I'll see you guys with my new character.
Yes. You sit there for some time, awaiting a response and not hearing anything. Crestfallen, you resign to the idea that you were unsuccessful in contacting any higher power. The Triad has not picked up your call. But as you go to stand up, you feel a presence, both familiar and not. It's less of a voice that speaks to you, though you could describe it as that, and more of a description of the very situation in which you find yourself. There's specific knowledge in your head, but Now it doesn't feel like it was spoken to you, it was given to you somehow. You do not know when or why. You only know that you now know the answer within your mind. You learn from your divination. The question: is there anything we can do to better prepare ourselves for the upcoming peace talks with the elves in the fort? The response: already one of you has been warned of one who may disrupt such talks. Beware that which spoke it unto him, and seek the truth in the situation you find yourself in. It may not be as it seems. Phew. The candles go out, and the smoke hangs heavy in the air, swirling around for a moment before it begins to settle and dissipate through the cracks of the dark cathedral window.
I go to bed.
Okay. Rosanna, you recount your many, many tales to Tolzes. He stops you many times to ask questions such as, so he turned into dust.
Yeah, just like
That question comes up multiple times. He
it
mentions
has happened multiple times.
dark spirits many times and your bravery in facing them. Um, all sorts of crazy things that you've seen. He is unable to believe some of them. There were really people in the ocean, fish people.
Fish people. Like the like gills and everything.
I hope the Triad's light shines deep enough into the water. He hears of the things you describe of other gods that you've learned of and is admittedly somewhat dismissive of them. He ribs you a little bit for Calhoun. Like, I see. It is that is biggest surprise of all in your story, you know. He shoots you. I am glad you are happy.
I'm getting there. I'd say that right now.
Finally, you conclude your tales. Well, it's quite a lot.
It's been a long 10 months.
That it has.
So,
I know you have more to do, but I hope you will stay for at least a time.
I will try my best.
He stands up. You are always welcome here, my friends.
Thank you.
May the Triad's light shine upon you, upon us all, as brightly as it has upon you. Sleep well, sister.
You too.
Oh, and by the way, ricka ticka ticka ticka. See? I see the smiles. It's fine.
Connor's trying so hard to hide it.
It gets funnier every time. It gets funnier every time. Think about the other campaign where they really get shot. That's even worse. Some of them have guns. Oh, what's a gun? Anyways, Let's see. Sorry, I gotta write a couple things down, especially from your divination, Cedric. And if you need that word for word later,
There's a VOD.
I'll watch the stream.
yes,
There's a VOD.
there is a
Yeah,
VOD.
I'll get that. I'll
I
run
will-
that back.
I will probably write it word for word in the summary.
Gotcha.
Just so you can.
Yeah, I don't know. We kind of got slapped for being shitty in our job on the last job, so I figured we need to start playing hardball and be prepared.
Talk to God.
Talk to God, get an edge in the talks.
Yeah. Okay.
I do want to
Weird
say
spell.
before I go to bed, I want to scry on my mother one more time
Okay.
because I
Have you ever considered that maybe you're gonna scry at like the wrong time? People take
No.
showers.
I think that's why you do it.
Yeah.
Let's actually.
No.
Could I have you make your roll, please? You will have a. Oh, actually, sorry. They make a wisdom. She makes a wisdom saving throw, and she'll get a -5, 6, 7, 8, 9 to it. And what is your spell save?
16. Wait, I have a possession or garment of hers?
Her locket.
Blood. Oh.
Oh, that's right. That's right. I do remember.
Okay. She fails.
God.
Pretty
Okay.
much has to roll a nat 20 to succeed, right?
Yeah.
She's
Pretty
got a
much.
28 in wisdom
Oh, nice.
because she's
Nice.
old.
She is old.
Rosani, once more you scry upon your mother, desperate to confirm that she has not fled into the night away from the fort.
Because I remember that there was a talk of her going somewhere
Yes.
in one of my previous scry.
The image from the symbol, the metal shimmers once more, and you gaze and peer down into it.
I forgot I have a literal symbol.
Yes.
God.
A wave of relief washes over you, and you, as you look around and once again see the familiar scenery. Now, very close to you, the old, cracked walls of the abandoned fort. As you see her first, like you always do. And as the image coalesces more and more, the resolution kind of solidifies until it meets the shimmering edges. You see that she is engaged in conversation with the same wood elf man that you had seen her speaking with before, the one who bid her not to leave. The nature of their conversation is similar to that which you witnessed the first time you stride upon her. But now that you have collected and prepared yourself more for the sights and sounds of your mother, you start to gather more about what they are saying and are able to take it all in. Go ahead and roll insight for me.
Right. Oh, okay. Oh my God. 24.
Had you witnessed a conversation like this only 5 months ago, you would have difficulty determining exactly the nature of these two's relationship. But now, with at least a passing familiarity with courtship, it is very clear to you that these two, your mother and this other man, this elven man, you've never met, you don't recognize whatsoever, have feelings towards each other. Strong ones. If that was not clear, the many embraces that they shared certainly make it to you. It is a difficult feeling for you. Seeing your mother not only alive and well, but in a situation like this, especially with the memory, the memory of your father and the halcyon days of your time as a child rush back to you in stark contrast to what you see now. Your mother, happy, someone she's found. Your father, you, your brother, nowhere to be seen. It's just them. Of course, you should be happy for her to have found joy like this once again. Love, perhaps, if that's what it is. But there is a part of you deep down that greatly aches upon seeing this. You cannot necessarily describe why you feel this way, only that you do.
I'm gonna stop the spell. Go to bed.
How are we feeling right now? Are we tired? Or are we still gamers?
I don't know
I'm doing okay. Although
I'm
how
doing
much we got going on left.
Got enough. I'm just seeing how we're feeling because I consider that a fitting end to the session. Unless we want to keep moving forward, it's up to you guys.
I don't want to lock in for too much longer. So if that's just a better stopping point, then let's do that because I do still have to shower and work tomorrow.
Yes.
I
yeah.
also am in that exact same boat.
Okay. All right. Well
But we
then,
should play sooner than later again, please.
yes. Don't worry. I've got enough
Okay,
now.
that's good.
So I will say that is where we're gonna end tonight's session. You all of you, well, Flint,
Aye.
Hey.
Rosani, and Cedric. Some of you relieved, others burdened, and perhaps confused. All of you, with the new knowledge that you've passed and gained. You all are eventually able to find rest. This is a strange new place that you've found yourself in, and in some ways it seems idyllic, but in other ways it has only brought more confusion and turmoil. Perhaps not turmoil, but lack of structure in the path ahead. You're all conflicted as you go to rest, for whatever reasons unique to you. But eventually you are you're able to sleep. Roscoe, you sit for a time in the night, pondering your own tasks, that given to you by your employer, and that given to you by your God, wondering how you'll reconcile the two in the days to come. How long will you stay in Magnolia? And during that time, what will you be able to do? Will it be enough? You're not sure. Those thoughts grip you as you fade to sleep. And Kevril, as you sit upon the bed, in an unfamiliar place, but gazing out upon the window, you see your home. At least a small little part of it. The grand, living, breathing superorganism that is the Forest of Eternal Spring. Within it, your entire life. Conflict afflicts all of you as you find rest in the in the Cathedral of King Asha. You're all able to sleep. And you will all start next session having completed a long rest. So thank you all for coming.
So, I suppose
This was the collective session 65. Be on the lookout for when we'll play next, hopefully within the next, let's say 2 weeks. Maybe next week.
Woo.
Maybe 6 years.
I can't do next week.
Okay.
Gotta say that.
Well, we'll see.
Jeez.
So thank you all for coming, everybody. If you're watching us for the first time, we hope you enjoyed. If you're coming back and watching us again, we hope you have enjoyed. We hope everyone enjoys.
Announcement.
And we have an announcement.
Next Saturday, first session of What the Hill Holds.
Yes.
I believe that is the first short campaign / one shot that is being done. That is scheduled.
That is the
Locked
first
in.
single module one shot that we have ever run in the community. It's not being run by me. It's being run by Dell, one of our players in the Delinquents, as well as the War campaign, and a past DM in my Dungeons and Dragons career. It's very exciting. If you have the time, it's on Saturday at 1 p.m. CST. We would love to have you watch. You'll get to see me and Tim and Jen, who plays in the Delinquents, play. I think we're all bringing some interesting characters. So we hope to have you guys check in for that. It will be streamed, and we'll have summaries and whatnot for it. And it should be a lot of fun. Exciting to have more DMs run stuff in the community, bolster the setting. Other than that, we thank you all for watching. We hope you enjoyed. For everyone who played tonight, the rest of you, thank you for coming. I hope you guys enjoyed. And hopefully we'll be playing very soon once again, maybe in 2 weeks. Good night, everyone, and goodbye.